Well, hello there, YouTubers, modelers. This is Chris at MFM, MyFactoryModels, and I thought I'd follow on the Spitfire because I looked in the stash sheet. I thought I'd follow on from the 172 Airfix Spitfire build with kind of the obvious twin to it, really. It's opposite famous stroke infamous cousin in the Battle of Britain, or opponent. The Messerschmitt Bf109E-3 Mark III. This is a starter kit, and jolly decent little kit it is too. I mean, I was impressed with the well, before I waffle on, this is basically a 2012 rebox. They basically reboxed it into this starter set. I mean, I love the starter sets. I just think the whole concept's brilliant. It's a pity more people don't do them. More younger ones don't do them. The way the world's going at the moment. This one cost £8, which is pretty damn good. You can probably get them cheaper than that. But if you just want the actual model, without the paints and the brush and the glue, you can probably pick that up for £6 odd or something. If you look around. So to go on with this, I think what we'll do is, okay, so the concept of the starter kit's brilliant. You know, you can't fault it. The brush itself, which I've used on for so many things now, which, like, my first one was initially from a starter kit years ago, but those Umbral brushes are excellent. Well, at least I think it's an Umbral brush. Yeah, it's an Umbral brush. They're excellent all-round brush, all kinds of arts, not just modelling. And they're very hard wearing, incredibly resilient. Well, at least mine have been. I've been lucky with mine, I guess. But I'd say they're really well made, and you can get smooth finishes with them as well. Although that one is actually quite a... looks like that's got a... pretty small amount of bristles in that one. That's probably a smaller brush than I normally get with it, but fine for the smaller details. Yeah, this is not really a kit review. It's just really kind of chat on the idea of starter sets. Like I say, I love them. What I don't like about, say, if you compare this one to Revel, you know, that other very famous make in the modelling world, and the only other one that I think where they, you know, it's pretty common knowledge that they also do starter sets. What I don't like about the Airfix starter sets are the paint. Not so much the paint itself, although that can be a little bit on the thick side. You've got to be on your guard against that, and often they do need proper thinning, those paints. And if you leave the lids off these awful little pots, which we'll get to in a minute, it's going to dry out and get thick in no time. So you've got to, you know, constantly be on guard about that. The comparison here, I've got a couple of pots from the Revel starter kit. I think these were off the Eurofighter, the Typhoon Eurofighter, the 144. But anyway, that's the kind of pot that Revel make, and the design, the engineering of just a simple pot is brilliant compared to those. You know, it's a class apart from the Airfix pots. The lid's open properly. Again, you do have to keep making sure they're properly closed, but it seals nicely. It does lock in. It's not awkward to open at all, so you're not spilling the paints or running the risk of flinging the whole thing all over your mother's curtains and carpet or on the cat that's sleeping under the table. But these are really awkward to open. I've always found them pretty awkward to open anyway. Other people I know have said the same. They're not, you know, they're not. It's not a great pot, but for a starter set, it's okay for someone who's just starting out modelling and they're not sure if they want to take it up, but they just want some fun making a plane. That's great. They're great for that. But that's where it ends for me. The kit itself, beautiful, elegant moulding. It is a very elegant, concise kit. I mean, if I compare it to the Spitfire, or even the following that I made, but I think this one is definitely even slightly superior to the Spitfire one. The detailing on it and the engine now just basically, really basically the bare bones of this I've just started. I mean, I've put a wash in there, but yeah. So compared to the Airfix one, it's even a little cut above that. I think, you know, it's definitely on its way to 5 stars. This one, this kit. There's some more you can see on the underwing there. Transfers pretty basic but excellent quality. And what's great about that, after the last model making a jet, there's hardly any transfers on there, decals on there. There's only about 12 decals on there, which is absolutely fine by me. In fact, it couldn't be better. Not being the world's most favourite decaller. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to continuing this. A few other interesting things, the clear parts, which I haven't actually got, it's over there somewhere, but the clear part is the canopy actually comes separate. So you can model the plane with the canopy open, which is brilliant for people like me, who every time I seem to saw a canopy in two, to do that I end up splitting it and ruining everything. So that's great. What is also good, which I've put on here the blue text, so you can see the engine cowling. You can have that off. Well, it's just got some blue tack there, so you can just basically have your cowling off for show, so you can go to town a bit on the engine. I mean, that's a lovely touch. That's what puts this ahead of, say, the Spitfire for me in design wise or the mould wise. Yeah, so you can just have that on or off. I put a couple of washes already on the pilot's compartment. I didn't want to do anything with this, but I've already had to scratch a little gun sight on there, because for some reason I couldn't find the one that was with the kit at all, unless I didn't get the instructions right, and there isn't one, but I couldn't find one at all. I mean, it's possible I've lost it. There is that. But I don't think I did. I just don't think there was one. So I've checked everything. Still, anyway, we've made a start on it. A little bit of history about the kit, or the actual plane. Yeah, we all know sort of Battle of Britain. Iconic Battle of Britain aircraft, adversary to the Spitfire. What I'll do, I'll read a bit off the actual the Airfix instruction sheet. So that the Bf109E-3 was designed by Professor William Messerschmitt, director of the manufacturer's Bayerische Flugzeugwerke AG. The prototype Bf109A first flew in 1935. The first major production variant, the Bf109E, was introduced into Luftwaffe service in December 1938, so it's only a couple of years before the outbreak of war. The E model was more powerful, better armed and armoured, and by the summer of 1940 there were over 500 in service, which I think that's a lot, for the offensive against Great Britain. By this time the 109E had already proved to be a competent, if not the world's best fighter aircraft in the skies above Poland, France and the Low Countries during the Blitzkrieg. The 109E became a symbol of the Luftwaffe over England during the Battle of Britain, and along with the Supermarine Spitfire and Hawker Hurricane, it became one of the most famous fighter aircraft of all time. However, in the skies over southern England in 1940, the 109E first had its shortcomings exposed. Its range was limited. Its endurance time over London was just 5 minutes. Crikey, that's not long, is it? It was also unable to turn as well as either the Spitfire or the Hurricane. Well, I wouldn't have thought that. Spitfire maybe, but I thought it would have turned as well as Hurricane. Anyway, although its cannon armament was superior, it later served on most of the fronts, the Eastern Front as well as the Western Desert Front. Maximum speed 354 miles per hour, range 412 miles at 250 miles per hour cruising speed. Armament 2 wing mounted 20mm MGFF cannons and 2 nose mounted synchronized 7.9mm MG-17 machine guns, and I'll leave that there. So I was going to make this 2 parts on this starter kit, but I think I shall just leave this as one. Basically 2 sprue gates. Again, as you can see, a wheel detail there, it's quite nice. But yeah, it's a slightly smaller in size than the Spitfire. But like I say, the detailing is impressive for a kit of that price. But you know, as we know, it's one of the more recent Airfix efforts, the retooling. So yeah, well, I'm going to wrap it up there, conclude this video, and the next video will be an update on the progress of the build. I'm not sure when that's going to be, I've no idea, but I hope you enjoyed my ramble about the starter kits, or my impressions on starter kits anyway. Like I say, I do think they're a great idea. You know, it's all there. Kids can just buy them and get cracking on the modelling without having to buy all this fancy equipment. And or anyone who just fancies a bit of fun, you know, just wants to say, oh, I built a model once and that was it. Or it might be the path to greater things, who knows. But anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.